Remember how everybody was saying electric vehicles can't work in cold weather because the batteries will die, and that's the end of that, and whatever you can fill in the blank with to make it seem like, EVs are just the worst. Well, guess what, people? Things are changing thanks to a company called CATL. They're a Chinese-based battery company, but they're the largest battery supplier in the world, and I believe also the largest battery maker. And guess what? They figured out how to make the electric cars work in cold weather. So basically, CATL, which is the largest battery company in the world and battery supplier, they have the best battery technology so far. And you know what? They just made it even better. Their batteries are becoming more dense, the battery density, which means they can get more power out of their batteries for using less batteries. And not only that, they're just getting better and better at creating the batteries. I mean, like literally, they're the best on the market when it comes to electric vehicle batteries. So what they just did was actually revolutionize their own battery, because just recently they figured out how to make a very powerful battery, but now they just created a hybrid battery, which they're currently using a sodium-like battery, which is a salt battery, the sodium inside of it, but now they have a hybrid battery where they're using a little bit of lithium, and this little change has made the massive difference so far. Their last battery that they had, which was already remarkable, was about 160 watts per kilo. Now, they've just stepped it up to 200 watts per kilo, which is pretty outstanding, especially when just recently, Blade Battery, which was created by BYD, which is a Chinese automotive company. They're a Chinese automotive company who's been making vehicles for some time and electric vehicles also. They just created a Blade Battery, which that technology was amazing. It came out literally about a month ago, not too long from now. And what's funny enough is that CATL just came out with a battery that's better than that. The Blade battery was about 180 watts per kilo. And that was like a groundbreaking battery, which just came out. And then CATL was like, haha, no, we got the better battery. I mean, that's got to be super annoying to have created a groundbreaking battery, and then literally a month later, another company's like, haha, I thought you had it. Well, we got it back. So, like I said in the beginning of this video, when it comes to cold weather, most people would say electric vehicles don't work in the cold, don't get EVs, because when it's freezing, that's the end of them. But CATL just figured this out, and they are putting this to rest. So basically, the battery is able to work up into negative 20 Celsius. Basically, that's negative 4 degrees Fahrenheit. So think about that. If you're in a place that's cold and everyone was complaining that the batteries aren't charging or not working, they figured out how to go into colder temperatures. And what's even interesting is that in cold weather, it charges faster than it would if it was in warm weather. That's right. The battery charges faster in colder weather. Instead of it taking about 15-20 minutes, it'll charge. They've tested it out to charge in about 10 minutes. Pretty outrageous, knowing that in colder weather, when everyone would say they don't work, this battery seems to work better when it's freezing. It goes from 0 to 85% in 15 minutes. And if it's in cold weather, less than 15 minutes. And that's some pretty shocking information, especially when everyone says that electric vehicles don't work in the cold. And here's this company who's like, oh yeah, check our batteries out. And the interesting part about this story is that Tesla is the only company that has the licensing to use CATL's battery manufacturing system inside of Tesla's factories. So Tesla basically spoke to CATL and they're like, yeah, sure, you can use our batteries and our manufacturing systems to set up these batteries inside of your factories. So Tesla's the only company so far that has access to these batteries. And these batteries are going to change the game for Tesla. And they're shipping all the equipment currently over to America right now with all the setups just to put this inside of the new Tesla cars. And guess what? These batteries charge faster. And if they can make these batteries more dense and more smaller and push out the same amount of power, this is going to be revolutionary. That means that these cars or Teslas or any car that has this battery is going to be charging in less than 15 minutes, especially if they get rid of more batteries because they figure out how to make it better and better. This is the outcome, people. I won't be surprised if like maybe 7 years or less from now, electric cars are charging in about 7 minutes, maybe 5, pretty much on par with gasoline cars. And the complaining that people would have is going to start to disappear. I'm curious about what people are going to say when the battery is charged great and cold and you can charge your battery in 5 minutes and all this stuff that's so bad about electric cars changes in the next few years. That's what I'm curious to see. Now, let's say electric vehicles are just completely on par with gasoline vehicles. Are people still going to complain, especially if the electric cars are cheaper to buy and they charge in 5 minutes And, that's pretty much the idea. And they're less in weight. So that whole idea about the tires and the scraping tires off because the cars are heavier. I mean, even the new Model 3 Highlander is a little bit heavier than the BMW M3, which is that smaller sports car. But when the BMW puts gasoline inside of it and the fluids, it becomes heavier than the Model 3. So this whole thing about EVs is changing, and it's changing drastically. Listen, 4 or 5 years from now, don't be surprised if electric vehicles are literally on par with gasoline cars. Well, that's it for the day. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tune in again tomorrow. I post videos every day about what's going on in the automotive industry, big tech, car companies, Tesla, whatever it is. But I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. Peace. See you tomorrow.